Welcome to the show. I'm going to drop a waypoint on these fish. John Bergsman here up in the Alpena region, out here in deep water on Hubbard Lake, Michigan. It's going to be a good day. Yep. Nice fish. I can tell by the way it's fighting.
It's not happy.
No. I see color.
Come on, buddy.
Oh, it's a nice walleye. Number one in the boat. We'll have these guys hold him up. Oh, what do you know? He's on gold. What a beautiful fish.
Good start.
Awesome start. You need a pliers?
That thing.
We were just talking, we pulled back up, ran up, make another pass because as quiet and calm as it looks, if you get from away from the shoreline or out into the main lake, it's actually probably a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind, and speed is a super important factor. So we just got back into the marks out here in 75 feet of water. So we've identified the fact that from 45 to 75, there's very little fish. Once you get into the basin, that's where the fish are. What's the count on that
55
one?
55 back.
Here you go. So 55 and 50. We've isolated the fact now. We caught one at 50, and now we've got another one at 55. So even though we think these fish are deep, because we're marking them deep,
10 feet.
The biters are not that deep. And I'll tell you what, I'll let Nick show that off. Nice little keeper. Not as big as the last one, but you know, beautiful inland lake walleye all day long, eh?
Yeah. They're healthy fish. Lots of food in the
tons of food in the system. We're gonna keep a few of these because I think our wives would shoot us all if we threw them all back, so.
This one's at 40.
Perfect, and he folded that flag. That was so cool, guys. So now it's a 40 back, Nick said. So we've got a 55, a 50, a 40. So these fish are kind of fooling us a little bit.
They've come up in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, in the last afternoon bite. Here you go, young man.
My counter doesn't read, so I don't know what I'm at.
You're pretty close, I'd say.
It's coming right for us.
We like them when they swim at the boat. Nice fish too, because he folded that flag. When I saw him, I thought, ooh, that's a hit.
He's thumping. Should see color here pretty quick. I'm gonna bring him up nice and slow.
Whoa, he's not ready. He's not ready.
Oh, there he is. Oh.
Nice fish, Nick.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a 4-pounder.
That's a chunky one today.
Yeah, perfect. Well, maybe we're being fooled. Maybe we're looking at all these fish on the screen and the real fish are higher, Nick.
Look what that came on.
Look at that harness.
That's the one we picked out earlier.
That's my slow death rig. So we'll show you what's caught the big fish of the day so far. This is a slow death rig by Walleye Nation Creation. Look at Nick. What did I tell you?
Boom.
You've got this little treble hook that snails them, and if that doesn't nail them, then the slow death hook does. We've been using this and integrating this bait throughout the course of the year into our presentations. I'm telling you what, it's earning its money.
Nope, that was a good color.
Look at that.
Nice chunky fat one.
Beautiful. All right. That was 1.3, exactly 1.3. And during my bite window, I said we're trying to also look at solander tables and how they affect our day, and we've had nothing go for about an hour and a half, and all of a sudden it got to that 11:30, and we said, hey, you know, nothing's happened, and let's run back up to the top of our troll, start back up so we've got a good pull during the bite window from 11:30 to 1:30 or 2 o'clock, and it's 12 o'clock right there on the Garmin, 12:08, and really nice fish. Also a little bit higher. I mean, we keep looking at our graph seeing these fish down at 30 and 40 feet, but those aren't the ones that are biting. It seems like the ones that are at 25 feet down are biting, and we're not marking them as regularly, but boy, I'll tell you what, we're gonna continue to have a good spread of baits out.
Fish on.
All of our fish today have come at 55, 50, and 40. And we had some with 80 and 90 back, which had been the critical sets coming into today for Nick. And but you know what? It wasn't working today. You need me help? You need me to help, or I'll hold the rod, Nick? What do you want?
We just got to get this one in.
Okay, I'll get it in.
Out of the way.
You get the net. Yep, teamwork. Oh yeah, it's a nice fish too.
Just popped off.
Yeah, buddy.
We didn't clear that line. Look at that one.
There's your bait again.
Look at that. Look at that fish, and he's holding that bait up. Now, that's the golden green, and Nick is starting to become convinced here that this bait's pretty good, isn't it?
Oh yeah, just kind of like the Reapers I was using earlier this season.
Yeah, and Nick started using Reapers instead of Bandits this season, and they did the same. They did the same thing, didn't they, Nick? They just turned on and turned into something really good. This is a Walleye Nation Creation Slow Death Double Trouble Spinner. What it is it's got a slow death hook, a treble hook, and then just a nice blade. This is an inland lake with really clean water, so some sort of a flash on there, whether it was silver or gold, along with some color as an attractant, is a great choice. Today it seemed like the golds were biting the best, but I tell you what, the more I use these Slow Death Double Trouble baits by Walleye Nation Creation, the more convinced I am that they are the way to go when it comes to great hookups. So as you can see, we dealt with a little bit of wind today, and actually quite a bit of wind, to the point where we had to really even pick where we were fishing because we couldn't go slow enough at most of the lake. One of the biggest tools you have in your arsenal when you're running into a circumstance, especially when you're fishing behind the windshield like we were today, is having a good key fob and having a great trolling motor that's got heading hold. In other words, you can set a directional hold. So I know that I want to go straight downwind, and so I find that bearing, compass bearing, where it's straight downwind, and I lock it in, and I can control the speed and everything from right back here. I don't have to be up at the trolling motor. Also, the Garmin Force Trolling Motor's brushless technology is awesome. I still got almost a full charge of batteries, and this is hour number 7 of trolling. Now granted, we're trolling downwind, so we're not having this. I've only got this at prop speed 4 to go 1.5 miles an hour. But brushless technology helps save your batteries. If I was going to spend the night here and go fishing tomorrow, I probably wouldn't even need to charge my 31 series setup up. I could probably troll all day with this as well. Quick half day at Hubbard Lake. The wind's blowing. We're going to get off the water. We're probably going to have dinner at the Red Brick Tap and Barrel. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back out on the water. We'll see you tomorrow morning here on Fisherman's Digest.
Tadpole from Offshore Tackle. It's a diver weight inline. Nice thing about these is they Don't drag in the water when you get a fish. On the bar, they're in the set position. They're like this. You get a fish, they release. Kind of like a dipsy diver. So you're only fighting the fish and not the weight anymore.
There we go. There we go. Fish on, fish on. Hey, good morning, everybody. John Bergsma. Hey, things got a little windy yesterday, so we ended up pulling the plug, having a nice dinner at the Red Brick Tap and Barrel over in Alpena. Came back this morning, as you can see, greeted by wonderful Alpena County weather. We're back here on Portage Lake. Nick and I, we're gonna finish out this show and show you what great walleye fishing you can get when you come out with real live action sport fishing charters. Nick fishes all over the state. Stay tuned for some awesome Alpena walleye action. First fish of the day, got the ego out, got it extended. We are excited to bring you these Hubbard Lake walleye shows. You know, this is one of the best kept secrets around, and Nick has got a line on these fish. Telling you what, guys, you want to have a great time, Nick Dode Real Live Action Sport Fishing, Hubbard Lake walleye in August. Woohoo!
There's a nice one.
Nice fish, boys. Look at that, right in the net. Nick will undo them for you. There you go, Nick, show that fish off.
So just a small spinner blade. Nice Hubbard Lake walleye, 17, 18 incher.
Beautiful eating fish too. Possibly, Nick, Houghton Lake, Hubbard Lake, and Big Manistee Lake I found to be possibly the best tasting walleye I've ever eaten.
Yeah, absolutely.
These are clean water fish. Beautiful start to a beautiful morning here in Alpena County. What we're doing, guys, here for our Garmin tip of the day, we're following, what we've done is we've identified, Nick's identified that these fish are holding somewhere suspended between 50 and 60 feet of water. So what we're doing is we're using the wind. We went to the side of the lake where we've got a nice downwind troll that'll take us right down a break edge here. This is where having the built-in capabilities, this is a 106, Ultra 106 SB, having that built-in mapping capabilities with the depth contour lines. Now you want to zoom this in so that you can see these depth contour lines, because we find we're catching the fish right now between 50 and 60 feet. So when our boat is in 60 and 50 feet, that's where the fish are holding. We have no idea why. You know, I quit trying to figure walleyes out a long time ago. Just mimic what works. Use your depth contour lines, find the areas of the lake that have fish, put together a program. Today, we'll show you it's going to be spinners and tadpoles by Offshore Tackle.
One thing with the tattle flags, when I'm fishing crawler harnesses, I sit at the lowest setting. So this spring, I bring all the way down to the first circle. And if you're fishing crankbaits, for example, bandits, you'd raise it up to at least that second circle on the flag. That just puts more tension on it. You don't want a lot of tension when you're trolling this slow with crawler harnesses. You want to see every little bite.
Yeah, you hooked him, Nick.
Yep, you got him.
He looked at our bait.
The offshore board. We've been marking them.
That one looked at our bait. Our little offshore board said, "We have a bite." Nick dropped the board back, and I'll let Brett get back there, and while Nick's bringing this in, and I'll tell you what, Nick, you can't overstate it. If you hadn't seen that little tickety-tick bite, you wouldn't have got that fish.
No,
That's
sir.
where a super sensitive board and that offshore tattle flag system, Nick, without it, we don't catch that fish.
No, absolutely not. So we're using a 1 ounce tadpole, and we got a really small bleed harness. And this fish barely bit. We got him right on the lower lip by dropping that harness back to him. So
beautiful, beautiful fish. Fish. Nick saw that board gyrate just a little bit. He dropped that rod tip, let that board sink back 10 or so feet. It allows that spinner to fall more easily into that fish's mouth so that when he's just nipping at it, now you're making him make a decision. almost all the time with live bait, that decision is they
Got
just
one here too, John.
engulf it, and
Double.
we got a double. Yep, I'm hitting the spot. We're marking. Oh yeah, you got a good fish too.
Yeah, nice big over here.
I know,
get
but
into
it's a mess.
everything.
This is gonna be Johnny netting his own fish because
I can help you.
Nick has a mess. One of the good things about this Ego is you can extend it, lay it down, and then you can just go right ahead. And when you're gonna do this net job yourself, notice how I'm halfway up the rod with my, I'm not at the end anymore because I need that net to be able to reach out and touch someone. That one's in the boat, Nicky.
Nice job.
Woo. Nick's got a nice fish, but Nick has a mess.
Don't show it.
We won't show it because Bruce DeShano would say, "What are you doing to me, boys?" It is such a mess. But we got one nice walleye here. This one took it right down into the treble. The treble hook, Nick runs on some of these suspended lines like this. You can get away with running that nice little treble hook. Beautiful little 15-incher. Perfect for a sandwich. We are gonna measure them. 15 inches right there. You can see it, 15 1/4. Ladies and gentlemen, he's gonna join Betsy for dinner. Whoa, Nick,
Yeah.
take that off. Talk about the presentation.
That's a nice one.
That's a beauty. And we didn't quit on it.
Nope.
I'm steering, Nick.
all
But we
that
kept her
mess.
cool.
Yes, we did.
Kept her cool.
The line broke and he kind of got wrapped into another one. And
And now he's going home
Yep.
to dinner with somebody, and it looks like, are we dragging one right there, Nick?
this one?
I think so. Fish on, Brett.
There he is. How about that?
How about that? Look at that, right down in there. Look at how fat and healthy those eyes are, Nick.
Oh yeah.
So, Nick, talk about that little treble. It's sticking right out of his
Yep.
mouth. It's a great demonstration.
So we got a 2-hook harness, and they're being little buggers, so they're biting the nip of the tail of the crawler. So what we did is we added a stinger hook like you'd use for jigging on the river.
I'll
Just
get
slide
this
that
out.
on the second hook, and that's what we ended up getting them on. It came
So
off.
right there. So you're just sliding it
Yeah,
on
just
right there.
Attaches right onto that second hook, and it'll slide down about halfway, about right there. And you just attach that into the crawler as well. Try to keep it as straight as possible.
All right, way to go, Nick. Look at, see Nick go, there's the fish.
I see him.
He's gonna pay with his life. Yeah, success. That is how you get a fish in. Have to have that. This looks like a fish right there. Yep, that's a nice fish. You see that? That board wasn't, the flag wasn't even going down. It was just sagging and lagging. I was gonna do my close and I noticed it, and nope, no close right now, Johnny. We're in the marks. And now we've had a triple, essentially, 3 nice fish, literally trying to close the show.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us today. Nick Dode, how do I say it?
It's Dode.
Dode, Nick Dode, real live action sport fishing charters, fishes all over the Great Lakes. Thanks for joining us today on Fisherman's Digest. Hopefully you give my friend Nick a call, get out, learn how to catch some of these inland lake walleyes. We'll see you again next week here on Destination Outdoors' Fisherman's Digest.